Funfly. And
Mary had a little lamb.
there we are. There we go. So sorry if you joined us in the first 9 seconds and didn't get any, anything. Looks like Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. There we go. All right. By the way, we should do like a $50. We're not going to do it tonight. I don't know if this is actually legal. We should just do a $50 cash giveaway to our Twitch viewer, because we always get like one or two. Just because I want to know who you are and how you found us.
Why not? Why not?
Well, the Twitch viewer isn't here right now. So
well, when they come, if they come, if you see that they're there, ask them to send us a message, and we'll send them $50.
Yeah, if you're just picking this up on another network and you're not familiar with Twitch, because you're not in that, it's a game streaming network, and as long as we're going to be on the other socials, I just threw it on there to see what happened. And somebody watches us, and they just have never told us about themselves. Okay, he is Drew. I am Seth. Together we are Funfly, the two crazy fools that are audacious enough to believe that there is a way out of the student loan mess, other than the student loan forgiveness. That's probably maybe not happening, except sort of it is.
And
or
it goes on.
Something.
It goes on.
Man, this is a weird one.
We're thinking about it.
Well, I guess I had thought this is over. Like, they're not going to do student loan forgiveness.
Yeah.
It was, and if you didn't pay attention to this last week, the freshman Congresswoman AOC did hold Biden's feet to the fire, saying you campaigned on this, and that is totally fair. Whatever your politics are, you campaigned on this, and then there was no.
I'll give credit where credit is due.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the right that was the right decision for her, and I mean, I'm with her on that.
And we're building this for everybody, whatever whatever your politics, beliefs, worldview happen to be. We believe that you can get out of that your community can help you get out of the craziness you're in if you're in debt over your up to your eyeballs on student loans. So I don't know what to say there. There wasn't ever a reason given as to why this couldn't happen or why it's not going to happen or anything else. But then it sort of gets played with again. So I don't know whether to say that there's a little bit of hope, that come February 1st that they might do something like that. Or there's also been talk of extending it a couple more months, pausing the payments, which, by the way, not all of ours were able to be paused. Yeah, not all of ours were able to be paused. The ones that were, one of the loans is now wanting a phone call every 2 weeks. So I got good friends I don't talk to every 2 weeks, but Navient, you got to talk to every 2 weeks.
Right.
So, I guess maybe a good way to summarize it is they're now saying like maybe that that something might happen. There might be an extension, something like that. The big thing, though, is that these are probably going to resume, February 1st, and that means that have a budget, know what's going on. We are building this out so that you can reach out to your community, tell them what's going on, and that we can build a different world, just the same way that crowdsourcing transformed medical debt. That this is possible. We've gone back and forth about this. I'm not going to be totally hopeless that something couldn't still happen here.
Right. Well, we have to have hope, right? I mean, that's past history is no guarantee of future performance. But what we're looking at here again, is it just a political promise? Is it empty to carry us through the next round of elections, or is somebody out there saying, and honestly, I believe people like AOC are sincere about helping with student loan debts. And I read somewhere where, I think it was probably on Twitter, where, AOC she's got, I think, $17,000 in student loan debts. And that's the point she makes for forgiveness. And so there were some critics saying, well, gosh, she makes $175,000 a year as a representative. So, but still, I mean, this is something that is,
it's not a situation for her now, where that's a tremendous amount of money. Back when she was like, I think bartending and working in kind of local politics, I'm sure that was really tough.
Just like a lot of us, right?
Yeah. So keep an eye on that. And by the way, the grim news is that there will be, assuming this restarts on February 1st, this will strip essentially $85 billion out of the economy that's not going to be spent on other stuff, because it'll be all put towards student loan payments. And that kind of goes back into the government cycle, but it doesn't necessarily, in a time of a really weird economy, the fact that people are making their student loan payments again isn't necessarily generating jobs or, doing anything like when inflation's going way up and everything. It's not like it's a big booster for collectively our lives are getting better because we've resumed student loan payments. Unfortunately.
Right.
So perhaps the big news of the evening, if you will, your credit score, which, by the way, especially if you're deep into student loans and you are you're trying to do something like buy a car, and I believe it is Drew, you can back me up on this or tell me if I'm wrong. Isn't it like something like a quarter of your student loans is your debt to income ratio? Is that right? I'm sorry, a quarter of your credit score is your debt to income ratio.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know if it's a quarter, but it's a big portion of that. That is one of the larger components of what determines whether your credit score is good or bad.
So if you just put this in perspective, like we talk about teachers, social workers, or just people that are in entry level jobs,
or lawyers,
or
right, or operations managers, as we know.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize this. Public defenders, which I think is a really important job. And if you care about democracy and people not being in prison who are innocent, you think it's an important job too. I didn't realize that public defenders can start out at like $46,000.
$46,000.
Yeah. Because I had a friend that went back to construction. And he was like, well, I really want to be a public defender. I really cared. But I just couldn't make it. And I was like, well, how much student loans do you have? He's like $200,000. And he was
as a public defender, law school.
And they moved back to Boston, where his wife was from, and he just quit. And he's like, it was so important for me to do this job. Construction paid better, and I just walked away. And he'd have to retake the bar and stuff in Boston. So he may do that. But that's really a bummer, because if you look at people who are disenfranchised or may not have a lot of income, who, if they are wrongly accused of a crime, the only thing they've got is that public defender. And and now the public defender has no reason to show up if their student loan debt is that high.
Right. For sure.
Which is
for sure.
Very crazy.
So 46,000, and that's entry level for public defender.
Fred told me it was like 46 to 60. But what that has to do with your credit score is, let's say you're a public defender and your transmission blows up. You got to go buy a car. The bad news is, because of inflation and chip shortages, a Honda with 400,000 miles on it's now $20,000. Not really, but not far off.
Right.
And they run your credit score, and that's going to determine what your, whether or not you can buy the vehicle and what your payment is, right? And so that's already a big deal if you have a high student loan. Man, it's a weird cycle. If you have a lot of student loans, you have a lower credit score, which means you're going to pay more for the same vehicle. Now, because student loans are being transferred from one loan provider to another for 10 million people, that is going to lower your credit score. And there's nothing you can do about it. So just know it's coming. Essentially what's going to happen is, they're going to transfer the debt, and then like the old loan is going to be closed out. And, like if you have 0%, if you have a credit card with nothing on it and you close it, it drops your credit score. This is the same thing. You're going to experience a lower credit score come January, no matter what. So I guess if you got a lot of student loans and your car is about to blow up, you might want to go ahead and buy a car before December 31st. Such a weird thing.
New or used, Tower? Does it matter?
I'm not an expert on that, but I do know that there's like sort of levels where if your credit dips below this point, and it could only be a 5 or 10 point drop, but all of a sudden you have a higher payment for 3 or 4 years or whatever the life of your loan is. Unlike something else, you may not necessarily be able to put that purchase off if you're going to go to work, or do anything else. So, man, that is kind of the reason that we were attracted to try to do something to help people with a society-wide problem, because it's just nuts.
Right.
If you're trying to pay down this enormous debt, and then you're paying more for everything else because of this enormous debt, like I kind of get how we got here, but it's also just a brutal, brutal system.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
And I've been having that Elon Musk quote
yeah,
pop up in my feeds lately. You know the one I'm
yeah,
talking
and
about, right?
it's on all of our socials, by the way, as
Right.
well.
And the whole idea where, like, the I think the sum total of it, without quoting him directly, is saying, if you walk into a bank as an 18-year-old and you ask for $10,000 to start up a small business, they'll say absolutely not. But if you're 18 years old and you walk into a bank and you say, hey, can I have $100,000 for a student loan? They'll say absolutely, no problem. They won't ask any more questions. And basically he says that's the crux of our problem here.
yeah,
That is the crux of the student loan issue. And I mean, it's so true. And I shared that general Elon Musk sentiment with my old boss today, who's, he was 60. He's probably in his 60s, and he went to school. When he went to school, you could pay off a student loan degree with a summer job, more or
yeah.
less.
Oh,
And this
I
was,
knew somebody
yeah.
that would be about that age that went to a private college in Illinois,
Mm-hmm.
that said that he was able to pay for 4 years of school throwing hay bales in the summer. If you didn't grow up on a farm, square bales of hay weigh, 110, 120 pounds. You got to stack them
Yeah.
up. It's really dirty, hot, gross work because you're also basically inhaling hay the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So not a lot of people
Yeah.
want to do it.
Right.
But if you do it, back then you could pay for your whole day in college. And so, in what would that be? 12 months of total,
Yeah. 4
rough
summers.
labor.
Yeah.
You were done. Now what we're seeing is people who are still paying on their loans when they hit retirement age and are eligible for Social Security.
Right. Because theoretically, if you're doing it today, you're going to need to find a summer job, and we've talked about this before. You're going to need to find a summer job making 40, 45, $50,000 a year for basically, or well, 45, $50,000 a year for 3 months.
Yeah. And by the way, if you can do that, what are you doing in college?
Yeah, and honestly, like, if me as a working full-time professional, if I could find a job like that, I would take that job. I would steal that job from you because I want that job. But that's how much the higher education funding model has changed and has gone off the rails. And it's no longer about making education affordable. It's when people say it's not easy to get ahead in life, they're true. That's a true words were never spoken.
Yeah.
At least where we're at today.
Yeah.
So the model is broken, absolutely broken.
Yeah. So what do you do other than, in addition to, looking at being one of the first people that on Funfly, which we'll give you an update on that in just a minute.
Right.
What do you do if you're really struggling to pay these things? Call these people. We've had to do this. Like I said, they're not nice. Just from our own experiences, we've literally I've just called back to get somebody else, and it's been a totally different situation the next time. But tell them what's going on. If the payment's going to resume February 1st, and you're going to get smacked really hard, and you're just like, I can't make it. It's better to have that conversation ahead of time, and figure something out than to, not pay for 2 or 3 months and then, be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Ava, oh gosh, you're not supposed to be on the internet, sweetie. Ava. Okay, so
We'll pixelate her in the
post
when we cut up the video. Yep.
Except
Hi,
she's
Ava.
already here. Say hi. Okay.
Hi, sweetie.
I'm gonna
Looking
turn off
good.
my
I
mic
love
for
your
a
dress.
second. Yeah, she wants to wear a Christmas dress every day.
I love it.
Yes. So Drew is going to give you a quick update on where we're at as far as letting the first few folks in, because I was sick this morning and missed our development call. So if you want to hit that.
Sure. So what we're doing here is, again, we are closer this week than we were last week to launching. And what we need to do is, what our goal is to find 50 people who are interested in establishing a profile and helping us work out I guess you could call it the beta test of our site, where or maybe it's even the alpha test, where you put up your profile, you share it with your friends and family. They donate, say, $10, and then you say, hey, Funfly, we'd like to apply this $10 or $20, what have you, to our loan. So we go through the process that we think is going to work to do that. And so we take the money that you've raised from your friends and family and potentially anonymous donors and people who are just interested in making a difference, and we use our process, use our algorithm to send that money to your student loan. And if it works, fantastic. We've got a product, and we've got a website, and we've got a business here. If it doesn't, then we need to do some work, and we need to go back and we'll fix that. You're not going to lose your money. You're not going to lose your donated money. I mean, there's no risk of that. We'll cover whatever, but we need to do some troubleshooting here with some real people, just like you. So if you're willing, and if you're able, and if you want to take the risk with us, we're going to be uploading the site to updating the site to a functioning model here relatively soon. Email us and let us know that you're interested and you'd like to be one of the first 50 people on Funfly to help us to troubleshoot this thing and get all the bugs out of it. We would graciously appreciate that, and we'd very much like to have your input, and really like to see who's out there and interested in helping us take this to the larger population, and really kind of help us to change the narrative, and I guess change the discussion on what it means to have student loans here in 2021, and how do we address this problem if the government isn't going to do anything about it. So that's where we're at here. We've got our Tower and I, and Hayden, who is our web developer. We've all been kind of seeing what we need to do here, and we think we're there. So if you're interested, send us an email, sign up on our website at fundfly.com, and we'll be in touch with you once we are open to receiving profiles, and once we're good for setting up profiles, and we'll get you going with a profile. And it's just like the big leagues, where you'll have your profile, you can send it to your friends, family, and they'll be able to send some money to you, whether it be $5, $10, $20. Don't send more than $9,999, because then it becomes taxable. So any amount under $10,000 is where you want to be, and we'll put some guidelines out there. We're not saying no to that, but donations larger than that. But what we're saying is that anything under $10,000 is non-taxable. Anything above $10,000, if somebody if a relative sends you $10,000, then they are responsible for gift tax on that, which I think, depending on their income bracket, could be about, I guess, maybe 36%. So we want to make sure that you're getting the best funding you can get, and we want to make sure that your benefactors and your donors are not penalized for trying to help you out.
Yep. And on that note, I think that's probably going to be it, because life just happened. But hey,
I don't hear you, Tower.
Oh.
What's
There we go. I was like double muted because the preschooler broke in. And I was going to say, on that note, I would say life happened, so we're probably going to call it there. Yes, you can also hit us on you just direct message us on any of the socials. Is a good way to get a hold of us.
For sure.
And the first folks are going to be jumping into this thing very shortly. As I said before, the first Uber drivers that started driving for Uber made the most money because they got all the rides. I almost did that in 2013. Right about the same time, I thought about buying Bitcoin for like $5 and didn't. That didn't go well. So yeah, hit us up if you are a person who's innovative and loves to be a part of new things and also needs help. We are the portal that's going to help you ask your community to transform your life.
Well, and we'd like to become that portal.
Yes,
I mean, you know, we're again, we're you are the one who's transforming your life, but we'd like to kind of make it a little bit easier to do that. You know, again, we're trying to change the discussion around student loans, about what it means to have a higher education here in the U.S. in this time and place. And you know, again, we're not your saviors, but you know, hopefully we can be a tool to you know, get you back on track and get you to the life that you thought you might want to have before you started college.
Yep. That's going to do it for us for tonight. Hit us up, direct messages, and we are going to launch the first group through here. I'm Seth. He's Drew. Funfly.com. Funfly on all the socials. You can